going on, Jerome's? How are we living on this beautiful Thursday? Thirsty Thursday to those who partake. It's a beautiful day. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So, Randy Moss in his second to last game in a Vikings uniform. So, 2004 playoffs, wild card weekend. Also, this is evidence why, hey, get in the dance, you have a chance, because the Vikings were given a zero goose egg D'Angelo Russell chance against the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers. Took the bang thing to Lambeau, and Randy Moss shot the moon. Moon in the crowd, pantomiming the moon. Now, the backstory is, the Packers fans really enjoy showing off their beehole to the opposing team's bus as they pull into the stadium, and as a bus leaves the stadium, right? So, of course, Joe Buck famously, as infamously, that is a disgusting act by Randy Moss. Unbelievable. Now, what's great is that Chris Collinsworth was the color commentary guy, which is hilarious. Collinsworth thought it was hilarious, right? But Joe Buck, he was just like, clutching pearls, didn't know the backstory. It is what it is. Now, Joe Buck, sort of redeemed himself with the Minneapolis Miracle. Diggs, sideline, touchdown, unbelievable. Whatever. But, so Joe Buck was on with our guy Kevin Clark on the podcast, and he this is what Kevin Clark tweeted. We asked every guest what play they'd like to have back. They called Joe Buck wants back easy. The Randy Moss, that's a disgusting act call against the Packers. The more time that goes on, the more I think, man, I can't believe that ever came out of my mouth. All right, so yes, Joe Buck. So first off, I feel like every single fan either has bias or like cognitive dissonance. Is like, hey, every single announcer is against us, but Joe Buck hates the Vikings. He does. And always biased as hell. Same thing with Aikman. Never liked him at Fox. Don't like him on ESPN either. But like we said, modicum of redemption with the Diggs sideline, although Paul Allen's is way better. And Bursich is like, get out of bounds. Trying to set up the field goal, but this is still iconic, man. I love it. It's fantastic. Also fantastic is another Vikings wide receiver, Justin friggin' Jefferson, who deserves and will be the highest paid receiver in the game. Although CeeDee Lamb is also eligible for some cheddar, as well as Ja'Marr Chase off of his third season is eligible, and it could be a waiting game where when a player gets paid, generally there's like a tier, no matter the position. Like maybe there's 5 to 7 top end guys, and whoever is the highest paid player at that position in NFL history is whoever got paid most recently. And waiting out JJ, waiting out Chase, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. But NFL notifications put this out. The Bengals intend to sign wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase to a massive contract extension this offseason. However, Chase is currently waiting for Justin Jefferson to sign his contract extension first. Chase reportedly wants to be making the same money or more than what Justin Jefferson receives. Now, obviously, they're tight, teammates at LSU back in the day. And also, there's always a little bit of competition, right? Of like who has better stats, who gets more money, AKA who gets more respect. But I don't Ja'Marr Chase is good. I don't know if I would put him in Justin Jefferson dollar territory. Also, the Bengals are notoriously one of the cheapest franchises in the league, and they just paid Joe Burrow. Also, they're going to get rid of Higgins and Tyler Boyd just so that they can pay Ja'Marr Chase. It's kind of ridiculous, man. But also, I think CD could make a splash too, because that Jerry just wants to be like, CD's just as good as Justin Jefferson. Please. Also, please, is the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons are, a couple days ago, they were the odds-on favorite to land Belichick. Belichick's having a second interview, but apparently things have cooled between Arthur Blank and Belichick. Who knows if it'll work out? And they've interviewed 14 candidates. Hey, who wants to come in Atlanta and screw up Kyle Pitts and Bijan? We'll see. But Mike Vrabel looking to get back into the game. Didn't get the Patriots job after he got axed by the Tennessee Titans. But the Falcons did interview Vrabel for the head coaching job. Now, Mike Vrabel has a chance to do the funniest thing, because who Mike Vrabel's favorite offensive coordinator was when he was head coach of the Titans? Arthur Smith. Now, fans bring this up all the time. It's like, hey, our head coach is kind of booty, so how about he takes a demotion to OC or DC? Now, it would never happen. It would never happen. It wouldn't happen immediately. It has happened historically, where the the former head coach returns to a team after a while to take on a coordinator or assistant job. It happened with Vance Joseph. Vance Refrigeration was the Broncos head coach. He got axed, came back as DC. I think Wade Phillips did it once, too, with the Broncos. Dave Campo was head coach of the Cowboys, and then he came back later as like DB coach or something like that. Now, this obviously wouldn't happen. And with Vrabel, Vrabel being a defensive-minded guy, obviously he does need a good OC, and maybe that's what's hesitant about him and this job, because Vrabel's also interviewing for the Panthers job. I think that goes to Dave Canales, the Buccaneers OC. But I mean, there is a bias against defensive coaches where if you have success, I mean, you're going to be constantly going through OCs, and it's better to have more continuity on the offensive side of the ball and then having a gong show on defense. But who knows, man? Who knows? But also, his ties to Arthur Smith could be kind of funny, man. Also funny is how many people slept on Ivan Pace Jr. coming on in. Undrafted, loved him out of Cincinnati. Certainly would have not been shocked if he would have been a mid to late round pick. But Ivan Pace Jr. Looking like a damn stud there for the Vikings. Great in coverage, great blitzing, knows for the football. Big play waiting to happen, and he put out on the gram. Next season, gonna be even bigger, and I truly believe it will. So first off, he's got to take number 0, because that's the number that he had at Cincinnati, and Davenport ain't coming back. And Pace, depending on what happens with Jordan Hicks, like maybe Hicks returns, maybe he doesn't, but Ivan Pace either way needs to be that talisman in the middle. He's already wearing the green dot and calling the plays, but I mean, also let him off the chain. Let him rush more. Go from there, man. It's fantastic. I love me some Ivan Pace Jr. Something I also love is the greasy grimy Green Bay Packers having kicker issues. So first off, Anders Carlson, never trust a Carlson, and they're just like, hey, his brother Daniel is good, so how about we just get his brother? And his brother is very bad. And now they added some kicking depth since Anders Carlson basically kicked them out of the playoffs. They signed former Vikings legend Jack Podlesny, who was the kicker on the back-to-back Georgia national title teams. He had a cup of coffee with the Vikings last offseason as a UDFA, but I mean, homeboy couldn't even beat out Greg Joseph. Right, and Podlesny in college, he was only 82.2%. So that's not good, but for that we thank you. Something I'm also thankful for. So if you've been following, there's something in Vegas called Nachogate that's going on. So the Fontainebleau is a mega resort, center strip, sort of near the Strat. And it's high end, it's high everything, and they're still trying to find their sea legs, right? And this post went viral where a guy named Mike Herman, hey, Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, we waited an hour for food in the sports book, and this is our nachos? Come on, man. Apparently the nachos cost $24, and I mean, it's not great. It's not great. You got like 6 chips. Like, you got more condiments than chips. And especially if you're a sports book, I mean, nachos has to be like one of the more higher margin things, because it's literally just chips and cheese. So why not pile things up? Plus, for $24, I mean, I know that everything is more expensive in Vegas, especially on the Strip, but $24, pile those chips up high, man, because you got to think, like, how much product is on there? Like maybe $4 worth of stuff if you go through the guac and all the various condiments. Probably even less than that. So I mean, your margins are fat as it is. So just take off another $3.80 and just pile those chips up high, man. And it's so funny because all the other places in Vegas have been flexing. Like, hey, look at how many nachos you can get at this spot. It's good. But Las Vegas locally, it's one of my favorite accounts to follow. Update, Fontainebleau has dramatically improved their nachos after angering millions of nacho lovers around the world, which is smart to do. Because, I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Maybe since they waited an hour, maybe the kitchen's backed up. Maybe they're understaffed. Maybe they're just trying to figure out their flow. But I mean, this is ridiculous. But I mean, that looks pretty good. Like even $24. I mean, that's still kind of steep, but that does look pretty damn good. I mean, that guac looks fantastic. The jalapenos look great. Yeah, I pronounce it like that. Lastly, so maybe you know Sylvia the cat. Sometimes she makes cameos right here. She's sleeping right now. She's such a weird sleeper. So she literally sleeps on her back or slightly onto her side like a human. Just like she doesn't do the, on the belly, legs tucked in. cat nap sort of thing. She literally just sleeps like a drunken toddler. She sleeps just like splayed out. It's like it looks like how you nap on the couch after Thanksgiving. That's what it is. She's the weirdest cat in the world, and I love her. She's fantastic. Anyways, that's it. That is Vikings and other random stuff news dump for this beautiful Thursday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.